Good morning, TCG pregame crew. Audio visual check, please. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know everything's okay. You can hear me. Hi, Tammy, Brett, Dragon Man, Hasib, Emil, Peanuts, P-Court. Hi, Lou. Hey, Veronica, how are you? Awesome. Perfect. Thanks, Dragon Man, P-Court, Jesse. Hey, Greg and Widow Puppy, Andre, Robert Mack, Cinderella, Jesse, Jared, man, we got a lot of people logging in early today. Welcome to the pregame show. We will get started officially in just a few minutes. I thought I would jump on and find out, where are y'all from? If you would just post in chat, where are you tuning in from? I want to get to know y'all a little better. Veronica, I know it's Southern because you say y'all, and I understand you. We speak the same language. Hey, Bobby. Hi, Jorge. If you're interested in my chart setup, it's on the screen now. You can take a screenshot. I will be clearing it out here when we get started. New York City, New Jersey, Austin. Okay, Veronica, that's how we speak the same language. Texas. Veronica, you know what? It has to be East Texas is my guess. Toronto, Jacksonville, Miami, Florida, Nigeria. That's so cool. Vegas. I worked a lot in Vegas. Not on the Strip, that is, or out in Pahrump. I worked in healthcare in Vegas and traveled there a lot. Montreal. Man, from all of the four corners of the globe. Why do people say corners when it's round? Boston. Missouri. I used to go hunting there in southern Missouri. I am from Louisiana originally. I've been away for 16 years, so my accent is kind of diluted. My family says I talk completely cityfied. Washington State. Wow. Scotland, Callum. One of my favorite books was based in Scotland, and there was a main character named Callum. The Outlander book series. Never saw the show, just the book. Read the books. Ottawa, Santa Monica. I was just nearby you. Santa Monica. Hey, Benjamin. So if you're just tuning in, this is not how we always open. I'm just kind of starting it out a little bit casually while we wait to get started and more people to join us in 3 minutes. If you don't want to listen to this intro and you're listening to it later in the day, you can fast forward 3 minutes. DC, Bulgaria. That's so cool. Hey, Rob. Baby. Before I forget, we will have a big giveaway on Friday where we will give away an annual membership and a couple of classes. So thank you for tuning in. I will give out more details as we approach Friday as to how you could win a full membership to TCG. That's the Chart Guys community. I'm Chart Gal Lori. I'm part of the Chart Guys community. We teach technical analysis. We have classes. We have the Swing Report, which I run the content of the Swing Report, where we pick names and we go over the overall market at a macro perspective every weekend, and we send you a 42-page report, I believe. And then we have the community, where we have channels and an active Slack community where we have crypto, marijuana. We don't actually give away crypto or marijuana. We discuss trade setups and commodities. Miami, London, Michigan, Savannah. Oh, love Savannah. Huntsville, Alabama. So the format of The pregame show is I go over the Fab 4 futures. I then go over commodities, cryptos, and plays of the day. I like to give you King of the Mountains trade setup. If you've ever played King of the Mountain as a child, it's whoever you can throw off and gets to the top of the mountain, the strongest, supposedly, is the one that makes it to the top of the mountain. So I like those type setups. Every morning we're not going to have those King of the Mountain type setups. We're just going to go through what we do see. I can't make something appear that's not there. I would say today we have I don't have a strong conviction on some of the setups, but let's just kind of dig through and see what is happening, because we are in a dynamic trade environment. What I'm looking at when I start plotting these levels early in the morning, it changes by the time we are live together. So we're agile and we go with it. Right now we have ES pulling back a little bit. So I'm going to delete my setup. I use the 50 and 200 simple moving average, 8 and 21 EMA. I'm going to move the microphone just a little closer. The green and red is the 8 and 21 EMA. The yellow candles are just inside bars. I use a CM Ultimate RSI multi-time frame, and then TTM Thinkorswim default for the squeeze. And this platform that you're seeing is tradingview.com. I personally use TD Ameritrade as my broker. I use the Thinkorswim platform. I trade options primarily, but I do trade crypto and futures and common, and I love trading marijuana, just whatever the setup is for the day. So let's get rid of this. Thank you for introducing yourself. Thank you for telling me where you are from. Just kind of helps me just kind of know where y'all are from. It makes me feel like I get to know y'all a little bit better since we do hang out a lot. All right, so ES is pulling back a little bit. We have support at 42.45.75, then 42.44. Kind of zoom out, I wanted to show you the fib pull. So a fib pull Fibonacci, the Fibonacci math series. This is where we pull from a current or recent swing high to a swing low. And then we look at where probabilities line up for potential touches. So our target on ES is the 1.272 extension up at 42.95. So any of these oscillations of price, up, down just a little bit, regardless of what the bears are able to pull off in the short term, we still have a trend trade. We have candle closes above the 8 EMA. So the bulls are large and in charge. We may have some consolidation today, so I'll go over and highlight some of those trades. But overall, bears have to prove it with volume. Dragon Man, just a reminder that, just to let you know, Jason won't be in today, so you're the lone wolf over there moderating the room. Hey, Dana. Hey, Eric. Hey, Magnus, Mayo. All right, so that is our target on ES. And remember, regardless of what we think will happen, price is going to move up and down the path of least resistance. So wherever it reaches the most resistance overhead, that's where it will pause. I know that's something obvious to say, but it's nice to remind ourselves that price will move up and down the path of least resistance. So is there a lot of resistance overhead? No. So the path of least resistance actually is up. But the more we float up, and if the volume continues to stay a little bit low, then the bears could have their way with it. I'm watching a squeeze on the 4-hour time frame on ES. A squeeze just means that there is pressure building. On the 30-minute, this actually looks a little bit Dan would kill me for highlighting that. That is not a standard head and shoulders pattern, so I will delete it. I don't want to be on the bad side of Dan the man. So we do have a little bit of increasing bear volume coming in, but remember, we have volume increasing everywhere because people are waking up. It is, 8:33 Eastern right now. So we have people waking up and starting to trade. If we come back down into this area, so this big spike up yesterday, if we come back into this area, we didn't establish support on the way up, so we could just drift down. So please don't forget that. All right, who's the strongest this morning? So definitely who's the weakest is the Dow. The Dow is trapped below the 15-minute EMAs. Next is IWM, and then NASDAQ, and then ES. You can see NASDAQ is breaking that 15-minute support of 14,120.75. Then 14,106 and 14,103 are your next supports. I was highlighting this earlier, and look, it just continues to extend this TTM squeeze. Let me grab this box. So you see all those red dots? That just means that, again, price is compressing, Instapot action. We're building pressure. Will they take the pressure cooker lid off to the top for an explosion, or will it explode down the bottom? It can actually have follow through to the upside or to the downside, but either way, we're building pressure. And regardless of what's happening today, we have the FOMC tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is a very critical meeting. People are saying that this is, I like to say kapow, but it's Jerome Powell. It's his key meeting of his entire career tomorrow. If he were to start talking about a taper or tantrum, they like to call it tapering, the Fed's involvement in the printing press, or interest rate hikes with inflationary concerns, people are looking for all those buzzwords, then we could see a drastic pull down. So today may be a lot of hurry up and wait, and that's what I see in a lot of the setups. Dow. So the Dow, our key resistances, 34320, 34368, 34247, and 34238. So for the Dow, money floats over to the Dow because of inflationary concerns. So if QQQ is rocketing, NQ technology, and money starts coming out of YM, well, if there's inflation concerns that start to creep in, then you'll see this sector shore itself up and move back to the upside. So watch YM for a potential bounce, especially if there's any inflation concerns. What's interesting is there is money shifting right here out of YM. I'm just going to delete all of this since we had a little price move up and the resistances aren't valid anymore. So here are your key supports and resistances. If I'm going too fast on the levels, I apologize. I have a lot of data to get through in approximately 20 to 25 minutes, but you can always hit that pause button and then just take a screenshot so you can look at those levels and see where I derived those levels. Resistance 2330, 2332, support 2326, 2325, and 2323. Gold, gosh, I hope some of y'all got that bounce yesterday. We talked about the bounce over in here yesterday for gold. It continued to flush down. We got a volume climax, and then significant volume started coming in, and we got that oversold bounce. So we do have a little spike up, again, invalidating our support and resistances that I had drawn. Let's just go quickly grab those again. No big deal. So 1869, 1870 support on this spike down, 1862, 1861, and 1860. When we see these big ranges like we did yesterday, it's very customary for price to stay within those ranges. But we are toward the upper end of the range. So 1872 is the key level, and then 1879. So gold actually looks constructive after that big flush yesterday. Oil, I believe it was Goldman Sachs, says they see a case for $100 per barrel for oil, and I know y'all can make a case for $100 again, gotta delete this, for $100 oil if you've been to the gas pump recently. So after 71.79, it's up at $76 is your next resistance. 76.90 76.90 is your next resistance. So I'm not as fast with this mouse. I'll get better. So 71.95 is your resistance overhead, but man, oil just looks so good. And dollar is bouncing. So that's unusual for oil to have a bounce like this while dollar is bouncing, because oil is expressed in the denominator of dollar. So as dollar goes up, it takes more bull pressure in order to elevate price because the dollar dilutes it. It's hard to talk and use big words or string words together and get that synapses going this early in the morning. I hope y'all can have some patience with me and kind of understand where I'm coming from. Okay, so 71.90 is your key resistance. Bitcoin's pulling back. 41,000 is the level with Bitcoin. So just remember that number. It's 41,076, but 41,000 just makes it a little bit easier to remember. Going to delete all of these levels. So we just stopped at 40171, 40244, 40240. 39681 is your support, 39563, then 39413. This slow bleed, as Dan pointed out in the crypto channel, this slow bleed allowed for alts to bounce. One of my favorite alts that I've been playing as of late, Matic. We had a great bounce overnight because we had Bitcoin pulling back. It gives an opportunity for those alts to get a little bounce in. Ethereum. Okay, so we got through this resistance of 25.9765. Your new resistance is up at 26.01, 26.26, then 26.36. I'm gonna have to delete that. That's too messy. Gotta clean it up for y'all. Sorry. So if you screenshot it and come back later, what was Lori smoking this morning? Her levels were everywhere. Okay, so 26.01, 26.26, 26.36 are your resistances, support, 25.65, 25.60, then down at 255.53. So the 50 MA is not talked about a lot in crypto, but a lot of algos like to program using the 50 and 200 MA, and it is a huge 15-minute resistance. Continue to retest it and reject. So you may want to put that on your chart for cryptos. Apple. So Apple had a great, let me zoom out on Apple. So if I were looking at the swing report today and say, okay, let's find the best candidates. Apple looks amazing. We have a squeeze. We had elevated volume yesterday. We got through those key levels of resistance, and we are now turning and burning. So your next resistance is up at 131.26. So today may be a rest day for Apple, QQQ, SPY, and a rest day doesn't mean bearishness. It just means you're giving a chance for the bulls to take a break and for the EMAs to come up and join you and give you a place to take a breather. All right, let's see. Hi, Great Lakes, Minnesota. No problem, J-Man. You're funny, crypto. All right, so with Apple, I don't actually have a setup for you. It's too bullish on the daily for me to tell you to go bearish. You may get some bearish flips, but just remind yourself those are flips. Apple bulls went through some key resistance, and look over here to the far right corner. 70 million is the average volume for the last 10 days. The moving average was at 70 million, and we almost hit 100 million yesterday. That is some nice volume here on Apple. Over here, I'm going to be able to draw it. Here we go. That is some nice volume. So don't get too bearish on Apple, but we may get some consolidation. AMC, I think, is where you got to bank on today. This is where you're going to get your volatility. We got a TTM squeeze forming. You have key resistance, yesterday's high, 60.55. If we zoom out a little bit, then 60.62. So we topped out at the 60.62, 60.62, 60.62. Do you ever do that? Like you do some repetition in your brain so it gets imprinted? And just remember, you could go all the way up to even $61 with a name that pushes so hard in one direction. You could still go up to $61 and reject. With the way the volume is setting up this morning, I would be leaning bullish, and I would have to say this is, if I had to pick a King of the Mountain gun to head, it would be AMC. 57.01 and 54.86 are your supports. Got to get over that 60.62, 60.62. Got to get over that level for the bulls to prove it. We've got some major option stuff going on behind the scenes. And you say, I don't trade options. I don't care. It still impacts you whether you trade it or not. If we got a lot of option call buying in the background, then those MMs, the market makers, market movers, they have to buy stock underlying to protect. And so it pushes up price. So just a huge focus on AMC. We had crazy 301 million volume, but the prior 10 days volume was 366 million, so it was slightly below average yesterday. Let's see what they pull off today. So again, I like AMC to the long side, but you could also short $61. You could go long at 57, stop out if that's loss, and then your next support and bottom fish attempt would be around 54.86. Caterpillar, Dan's been outlining this one as well. You're going to hear me say Dan's name a lot today. He outlined some really great setups that I just have to pass along. So on Caterpillar, we had this huge move up. Look at that, gorgeous move up. And then now we're pulling back and pulling back hard. Could this be a volume climax? Absolutely. So a pullback, let me just scroll in a little bit more. 218.71 is your support in after hours without a lot of volume. So a pullback to 218.71 or even 217.09 could be bottom fish opportunities. The ultimate bottom fish level, 215.60. So we broke this 216.04 support by 44 cents. See that right there? We broke it yesterday, 215.60. Broke it by 44 cents and bounced. Let's see if the bulls can hold it today and get a dead cat bounce going. What's a dead cat bounce? All that means is that's where the bears cover. It doesn't mean we've got this super bullishness and super bull interest in Caterpillar. It just means the bears are covering. They have to buy to cover. CLOV, my all-time favorite name. That was just such a good, so much fun yesterday, right? So on the hourly, I have this TTM squeeze highlighted for you. That just means price is tightening in here, and we can see this tightening pattern, right? We have it coiling. 14.98 is your key resistance, then 16.05, 14.40 is that key support, and then 13.60. So we are looking for a daily higher low. We're looking for that higher low to be set on CLOV. So you could bottom fish 14.50, 14.40. Actually, there's another level in here. It was just established 14.58, 14.50, 14.40, your resistance 14.98 and 16.05. So if I had to ask you right now, what's the AMC resistance? You can tell me 60.62, 60.62. In your brain, if you could just get those levels imprinted on our key setups, when you see it, you know. And if you don't care about remembering any of that, it's too much to remember this early in the morning, I don't blame you. Just go set an alert and say, okay, let me know when CLOV gets to $16. Let me know when AMC gets to 60.62. CRSR. I have to say this was a disappointment yesterday. We had this beautiful bounce, and I had many of you message me saying you got a piece of this bounce. Let's see. It was almost 18% off the bottom. It was a beautiful bounce, but then it gave it all back. Aujourd'hui. I mean, like immediately it gave it back. So come on, mouse, where are you? There you are. So we have this tightening range now. You have support at 35.66, 35.66. And talk about double Dutch entry. This was our jump rope double Dutch entry, and we had a tightening range. We actually had a little bit of a falling wedge yesterday morning that you could have bottom fished. So just be careful on this name. I would give it down to like 35.55 for a bottom fish attempt. This is very frustrating the way this played out yesterday, considering the volume. The average volume, if you look over here in the right corner, 8.4 million, and we had 65 million. But the bears really smacked it down. So we have a tightening range, $38.48 and $42 and $42.97 are your key resistance. OCGN, major volume pouring into this one. I'm not clear as to what the news is. So if you want to know what the news is, I have no idea. I tried to look it up for you and I could not find it. So here are your levels if you want to trade OCGN and you like the flip. I know a lot of you like to short these large pops. So there's your levels. I don't have a trade in it. I can't take a trade in it. Okay, we have a top fish setup that Dan highlighted this morning, 625.49. And don't forget 627 is a level. 627 was a pre-market resistance over here, 627. So don't forget that one. So if we were to fly by 625.49 and hit 627, that would be another area to short. So your resistance is 619.01, 622.50, 623.28, 622.50 would be enough for me to try a short. This is my third king of the mountain. This is one of my top conviction, high conviction setups. Support 615.10, 613.49, and 612.07. Wish is one of the few names that got through their yesterday's high. So if you are doing a little algorithm and you say, okay, how am I going to trade today? So what names am I going to trade bullish? I'll put a plus sign. Which names am I going to trade bearish? I'll put a minus sign. Which ones went through yesterday's high of day? Which ones went through yesterday's low of day in pre-market? If you went through yesterday's high of day in pre-market, I'm automatically looking bullish to you. And wish they went through yesterday's high of day of 1192. So your next resistance after 1192 is 1237 and then 1665. So on the 5-minute, you have support at 1169. I'm not going to, well, it did happen on volume, so I'm going to count at 1154, 1141, 1218, and 1237. Wish has a lot of pre-market volume this morning. XBI, potential top fish setting up. 137.72 would be your level. We are just floating up. We have a little bit of a rising wedge going on. So on the daily, we are looking for 140.88 resistance to hold. So you have a top fish. I would say this is Prince of the Mountain, not a king of the mountain, but a Prince of the Mountain top fish. I know a lot of you like to trade LABD or LABU. How do you do that? It's a 3 times ETF. Please be careful. So LABD entry would be up here in the top fish zone. Then LABU would be down here in the bottom fish zone. LABU is the 3 times ETF bull ETF for XBI. LABD is the 3 times ETF bear for XBI. So if you want to top fish and get 3 times leverage and you are an experienced trader, you could trade LABD and LABDU for XBI. XBI top fish setup potential 345.01, but don't be pig-headed about it, or bear-headed about it is probably a better term. Because if the QQQ bulls want to keep pushing it, guess what? They're going to push it. So don't be pig-headed. Let's zoom out and let's look at our fibs here. So I did the most recent high swing, 342.80 to that low, 316. Our target on QQQ is 350.09. Let's just say 350. Make it nice and simple for my blonde brain this morning. Your next support, 344, 343.97, 342.62. If we have a push up into, let's say 345.15, I will still be looking short QQQ. So your next support, resistance over 345. We don't have any. We just don't have any. We're an all-time high. So it's going to be that 350 is your next fib resistance. So I would like a push up so I can top fish it. SPY. Let's see if I got all my levels. Yes. 425.99. So if we have a push up into 426, that could be an area to short. 426. Your support is down at, let me give you new support since we've morphed since I've gone live. 425.84, 425.93, 425.99. Support 425.21, 425.07, 425.97. 42497, excuse me. I would be looking for any push up to short 426. Shoot, I'd even go to 426.10. But I'm not just blindly shorting that level. I'm waiting for a little 2-minute higher low, lower high, lower low, Walmart fall apart. That's what I'm looking for. Hey, Cbro. Fanky, OCGN. Thank you so much, Fanky, my Arkansas friend. Skills, yep, it has a highly short interest, but remember, so these short interests, yes, they can squeeze those shorts, absolutely, but what makes a name get a high short interest? Typically is poor fundamentals. So just remember that it's high short typically for a reason. Ride or die. Some of y'all are ride or die. Y'all message me about how much you love ride. Well, they've had 2 things of bad news in the last week. Sometimes it's a high short interest for a reason. So let's look at skills. I have a few more minutes, a couple more minutes. So skills, this is a 4-hour downtrend, hourly downtrend. Daily, that daily support is at 1931. We hit 1945, so we've got to hit 1931. Your next daily support is down at 1640. We're trying to hold that 200 MA. Again, short interest can be high lots of times because the name has fundamental weaknesses. So 2015, 2018, on any pop, 1945 and 1931, I believe, was that level. Yep, 1931. All right. That's it for me. What do I think of Amazon? Okay, Tammy, You and I, we always have to talk about our Amazon, right? It looks beautiful, but we are not in all-time high territory. 3554 is that all-time high. We have a, let's see, 3372. We had this small gap fill yesterday and we filled that gap. So we are in an area with no resistance. It looks beautiful, but the bulls may need a breather if they can't get over 3385, yesterday's high. And you give them just a few minutes right over yesterday's high, then 3391 pre-market resistance. So I would be an Amazon shorter actually. So I have a swing on, a swing long, and then I could short with a day trade flip and kind of offset my long on any push in this, let's say 3392. Over 3392, I'm wrong on my day trade short, and then I back up from the trade. If you could give me a thumbs up, that would be beautiful. Thank you all for joining me. TCGers, let's go listen to Dan the Man over in the room. He starts live in 6 minutes. Non-TCGers, why not? Why aren't you a TCGer? I'll see y'all tomorrow.